Is it live yet? Now we're live. Hey,
Awesome.
welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Awesome.
What?
Your hot chocolate.
Oh,
hot
you got me.
chocolate's
You
there.
got me hot chocolate.
There we go.
It's a good day.
It's a good day, because hot chocolate's all about the warmth and the, I have coffee.
It's amazing that we have hot things in Arizona. I don't know
Right,
why
I
we do
know.
that.
It's cooler now. It's under 90 degrees.
Yes, it's cold here.
It's cold.
Cold here.
No, I said cooler. It's not
Here.
cold.
No,
Yeah.
the keyword was here.
Here.
Yes, that's true.
It's cold under 80 degrees.
Yes.
Right,
I'm ready to pull out my Uggs.
right.
I'm ready.
I know. Next week we'll be in Missouri, and I wonder how cold it is there.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
cooler.
It is cooler.
I don't know. But yeah.
I mean, fall just started.
I mean, we'll still be here on the sofa on Sunday.
We'll be here on Sunday, but Monday,
But we're going to be streaming live from what?
from the Affiliated New Thought Network conference, the Ampton conference, next week.
On whose feed?
Starting on Monday. It's going to be on Reverend Sherry's Global Focus, and that's going to be on the New Thought Media Network.
Which is so exciting. We've done that once before, but now.
Back in the beginning, when
I
we were only
know.
like 3 months
I know. I
in.
feel like we're like
Now we're like old
pros
hat.
now. Come
Now
on.
we've done it a while. Yeah.
But we may even jump on here live just to say hi to you all and check in, let you see Unity Village because it's
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I've never
Unity
been, but-
Village. I went last year, and Unity Village is amazing. And we definitely will, because we will show you their labyrinth.
I want to show you guys
You have got to
everything
see this.
for the
Yeah.
first time with me.
I mean, Unity Village is amazing. I cannot wait. It's just such an experience. So for
Yeah.
sure.
So check in here. If you don't get the live feed from us, just check in on this page, on both these pages, because you'll see us doing
Yes.
this. We want to share that with you.
Yes.
Super excited.
Okay.
We have a great topic today, the
We
last
do.
of the series for forgiveness, which I
Yes.
think has been really so many different ways to look at that
Mhm.
word. And we hope that we're giving you ways to, we all are going to have reasons to forgive in our lives. So we're hoping that this is giving you the tools and the mindset around how to forgive so that those things aren't operating underneath you every day, messing
Right.
with what you're trying to create in your life.
And we've looked at it as a gift, as forgiving, as in givingness, the ability to expand
Yeah.
and give to others. We've looked at it. What was last week's? We looked at it's a process,
So good.
not an event. And today we're looking at having the strength and courage for forgiveness.
Pull it
So-
all together with a neat little bow.
Right, a neat
Yeah.
little bow.
Right.
Nothing's ever neat or bow.
No.
No, not
But we're
really.
gonna,
But we're gonna try.
We're gonna do
We're
it.
gonna do the best we can. So we're coming to you live from the Unleash Your Life Studios at 7220 North 16th Street, Building A,
Sunny Phoenix.
Phoenix, Arizona, 85020. There we go. I know. I'm so good at that. Why do I know that? I can't even
She
explain.
knows random things like that.
Yes.
Preamp that, Nora.
Yeah.
We're at the home of Reverend Dr. Michelle Whittington, one of our favorite people in the world, our mentor for sure for a long time, and a dear, dear friend and sister, spirit sister.
Yes. And she does a lot of wonderful things here at Unleash Your Life. So you can check her out at unleashyourlife.us or .us.
Perfect. Well, I'm ready to get to this. How about you?
Okay, I am ready as
Are you
well.
pregnant?
I'll pray in,
Okay.
yes.
All right. Perfect. All right. Here we go.
So let's just get into this space, releasing everything that it took to be here, and knowing that there is one life, one love, one energy, one thought, one divine substance, and I am made of that, as is everyone within the sound of my voice and beyond. This wonderful, gorgeous energy that is God stuff, that makes everything. The trees, the bees, and our besties. This is God. So I speak my word into the law, knowing that today is perfectly orchestrated for the divine blessings of each and every person. That this time together is blessed, that every leader and teacher of all faiths everywhere are blessed, and that their service and their time together and their community feels the love of the divine in themselves and through the teachings they learn. I know that this time that we are here is good in the mind of God. It nourishes us, it nourishes our soul, it brings us closer, it gives us what we need as we are willing to receive. And for this I am grateful. I'm grateful and I let it go. I let it go knowing it's already done in the mind of God. I call it good. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
man. So today's topic, I have the strength and courage to forgive.
It does take strength and courage.
Have you
Let's
been
see-
working
let's see.
out?
I've been working out.
I've been working out.
It does take a lot of strength and courage,
It
though.
does.
It's a lot of work, and really, it's as we've discussed all this month. It's because it begins within. It's
Right.
not out here, and it takes a moment, or it might take a while, to recognize that it's not out here that I need to be forgiving. It's something some work inside that I need to be doing so I can forgive. And it's scary to look at that sometimes.
Oh,
And
definitely.
it takes a lot of strength to push through and work on that too.
It does. And like we read last week with Reverend Jerry's topic on forgiveness being a process, right? It's not an event. It's not a one-time check that box and we're done. So that's the other reason it takes strength and courage, is that this unveiling or unpeeling of the onion, the layers that come up, So I have a reading.
Absolutely. And I was going to add to that
Yeah.
when we do get triggered in that area that we need to forgive, that a lot can come at us to where we can't even recognize that it's something within us. It's just can be so much or so overwhelming. And there's a lot of courage around dealing with those things that come up for us. So I'm glad we have a reading because it's good stuff.
So again, just in case you're new here, it's New Thoughts for Today from the affiliated New Thought Network. It's inspirational writings from members of the affiliated New Thought Network, or Anton,
The conference we're going to next week.
which
this is
we
their-
are members of Anton as Begin Within Ministries.
And you
So
have 5 readings in this.
I do have some in this book. So that
I
alone,
know, right?
that alone is worth the
Hey.
purchase, people.
Hey, Reverend Jeannie, she's in the book, you guys.
So today's reading is on page 66, and it says, "The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong." Mahatma Gandhi. Forgiveness heals the forgiver. It rids us of pain and opens us to love. Unforgiveness is probably our biggest obstacle to happiness. When we hang on to resentments and unforgiveness, we hurt ourselves. The person we have an issue with could have done something without realizing it hurt us. Whoever it involved may not be upset about it. If we did the hurting, it could really eat us up. Whether I need to forgive myself or someone else, I first go to prayer for strength and courage. If I need to help to determine what I should apologize for, or if to apologize could cause more harm, then I seek out a trusted, confident, or professional. If someone has hurt me, no matter what, I forgive them so I can heal. Forgiveness is best done in person, if possible. I do not forget what happened or put myself in an unsafe situation. It may not change their behavior, but I can lose the pain of not forgiving. I lovingly forgive myself for poor decisions or actions. If I have determined that I will not make that mistake again, I forgive myself, making amends if possible, and let it go. All my decisions are part of my whole, even the poor ones. I have the strength and courage to forgive. Reverend Denny Miller Ralston, Interfaith and Religious Science Minister, the Villages of Florida.
Beautiful.
Oh, it really is. I love Reverend Denny. I love how she writes. I
I
love
can't wait to
her.
meet her.
I love her thought processes. And anytime we have a reading from Reverend Denny, I'm like, yeah, that's good stuff.
Solid
So
stuff for
yes, love it. That's a, she brings up, it's a very meaty passage.
Yes, I was gonna say, there's like multiple.
Yeah, there's so many different
Multiple things in this passage,
Yes.
for sure.
So, she brings up forgiveness of self and forgiveness of others for ourselves. So, this being our last week on forgiveness and everything, and it's kind of been in my mind, and, things percolate after Sofa Sundays, and I think about things, and I'm like, So last night when I was in my office, my bathtub,
She lives
That's
in that
my-
now.
that's
Gotcha.
my office.
Listen there.
I was listening to a TED Talk, and her name is, let me find it here real quick because it was amazing. Sarah Montana. And so look her up on YouTube, Sarah Montana, for a TED Talk. And Sarah's forgiveness is around a young man who murdered her mother and brother. And when he was 17 years old. And he got 2 consecutive life sentences. And Sarah talks about how she was connected to him as this monster. It's like he wasn't even a person. He was this monster because the whole process of remembering her mother and brother is related to their death. And it took a while for forgiveness. And it's an amazing story, so I'm not going to go in and tell the whole story there, but that's what she had to forgive. Now, what she talked about with forgiveness, this part was the part that I thought was so awesome. She says how she was able to do that, because she told people immediately, I forgive them, because that's what you do if you're a good person, and everything was an immediate thing. And yet he was connected to her. She talks about the chains of this.
That's what
Because it was the 3 of them, right? It was the mother, the brother, and the person who killed them. And this change, this was what was choking her. This was taking the life out of her body. And she says, what she came to was, I know what you did is not okay, but I recognize that you are more than that. You are more than that mistake, than that horrible, awful, evil you did. You are more than that. I don't want to hold us captive to this thing anymore. I can give this to myself. I need nothing from you. And I thought about that, how amazing that, because my forgiveness levels aren't anywhere near the murder of family. Okay. So, if someone at that point can say that she can choose this forgiveness and needs nothing from them. She doesn't need a reason. She doesn't need an apology. She does not need anything from them. She can give this to herself. And I was like, okay, that is where I wanted to go today, about how it is something, and it does take strength and courage to give yourself that.
Right.
What Sarah talks about is the fact that if you are still bleeding and hemorrhaging from the event, it is not time to forgive.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Because we
That-
try
we
doing that
do.
during those times and wonder why it's so we can't do it.
Right. She says there is a point where anger is allowed. She says anger cauterizes the wound, allowing it to scar so we can move forward. But if we are still hemorrhaging, this is not the time period. So I was like, okay,
There's the process.
Yeah.
Like, don't even try
Right.
it.
Don't even try. You're
And
not
then don't be
healed
mad at
enough.
yourself because you can't do it during that time because it's just not going to happen.
Right. You're not
Like, leave it alone.
you're not ready.
I love
You
that.
know, and so many times people are like, well, you know, because the Bible says, how many times do we forgive? 70 times 7. Right? You know, like we just continue to do that. And I think
It doesn't say when.
exactly, right? I think a lot of times that we
Within
take
24
that on.
hours, within 48 hours,
Right,
a month, when?
right,
When do we do this forgiveness thing 70 times 70?
right. And you know,
Like, come on.
when we talk about, like how she was saying, she told her friends that she had forgiven him. She told herself she had forgiven him, you know, yet the chains were still there. And I think a lot of times people think that forgiveness is this magic thing that you speak these words and it's done.
No
You
way.
know? No, you can't spiritually bypass.
No way.
You have got to feel the feelings. Like she said, feel the feelings, have that anger. Now be careful. I love that part too. She said that, you know, be careful with your anger because you can wind up with 3rd-degree burns. There's a
Right.
point of cauterization and then there's a point of setting yourself on fire.
Right.
So, you know, there is that balance and that part.
Or doing something yourself that you'll have to
Right.
then
Right.
forgive later. Like,
Right. Because sometimes, you know, the revenge we take
Right.
on ourselves and
and
others.
it never makes the original situation better.
No.
It never takes away whatever that is better. Like, how many times have you heard stories about somebody who did murder someone's loved one, and then they go to watch them be put to death, you know, through the justice system, put to death, and they're finally put to death, and this whole time they're so angry and they can't wait, and they put them to death, and they recognize, oh my gosh, it's almost worse.
Yeah.
Because now that person's gone, and then you're just the one left with all of that. So it's like
Yeah.
that nothing you can do is gonna fix what happened, and it's your work. It's your work.
Exactly. And that's what Sarah talked about is that once she was able to forgive him and release him, she was left with herself. She was alone now inside her skin. Those chains were no longer there. So now she had the opportunity available to do whatever she wanted. And she said, sometimes I miss my monster.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes like when we have, and I know as a cancer survivor, there are times that I miss that diagnosis because there was an identity in that. So I get that idea behind, you know, here's somebody where this unforgiveness is palpable and in my opinion, expected. If you murder my family, I'm going to have some issues,
We're gonna
you
have
know?
problems.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, you know, knowing that this is her experience, you know, most people are like, yeah, I get it. Okay. You know, so that identity must be very hard to lose. You know, to have that forgiveness and lose that identity of that anger that you have, you know, must feel like a hole.
Well, yeah, because everything was starting to be built upon that, right?
Right.
Everything I'm sure every conversation, every decision, every move was all based with that underlying, which is why
Right.
it's so important to recognize when you have a lack of forgiveness, because it still it operates underneath you the whole time. And I will say that what you said something, and I didn't write it down, so I don't remember the exact quote, but basically that it doesn't necessarily, I can't remember how you said it, it doesn't necessarily go away how did you say that? Anyway, I'll tell you what I'm thinking, and you'll
Tell me
probably
what you're
remember what you
thinking.
said.
Yeah. I have no idea what I talked
Usually I
about.
write down when she says certain things that trigger my thinking. But like there are times where you think you have forgiven, you know, and you've done the work around it and you feel like you're forgiven. And this is why we said a couple weeks ago, always check, let them run through your mind and see if they're unharmed, right? And if they run through your mind unharmed, like, yes, that's still intact. The forgiveness is still there. I'm good. But there are times where they run through your mind. You're like, "Are you kidding? Oh my gosh, I'm still trying to,
Yeah.
I'm still trying
It's
to
like that
attack them."
duck shooting thing.
Yeah,
right?
I'm still angry. What is that? And I've had those experiences where I've done the work, I've said all the things, I've prayed about it, I've done all the stuff, and then I'm thinking I'm good, and then maybe because they're not around or no one mentions their name, you're fine. But as soon as their name is mentioned, suddenly it's like it's all still there. So it is definitely a process, and it still goes. So even though she does, I don't know her or her exact story, but I would guess to say that there are times where that gets festered up a little bit again, and then she has to probably do the work again to reset it. Because I've done, me personally, I've done things in my life that I've regretted, and I wish I could change, but they are things that you cannot change. To where I lived a lot of my life upset about that, and I work to forgive myself. And now I'm 54 years old. It's been a long time since those things have happened, and I'm good with them. But every once in a while, something will happen, and that little part of me will go, remember you did blah blah blah. It's like, oh my gosh, I've already stopped
Love
that.
those little
Stop
saboteurs.
that. I know. Still tries to dig in, and then I have to do that release again. So I think that recognizing last week the process of the whole thing, recognizing that, I love how she talks about the anger or whatever comes up front for you. Let yourself process through that. You don't have to forgive the second this horrible or this
Right.
tough things
Absolutely.
happen. Allow yourself the process, and then go within and work on forgiveness when you're ready. I love that. But then also recognize that that strength and courage can still continue. I mean, it can still come back to haunt you, so to speak,
Right.
when something else comes up and you get triggered
And then
again.
it gets right. And it reminded me when you just said that. It reminds me of when you stub your toe, or you bite your lip or your tongue,
Oh, bite your tongue.
and then everything you do
Yeah.
now happens again. And you'll bite. Oh, I've been biting my lip the same place for 10
Oh my
days.
gosh, I know.
Type of deal. Or
I know,
I
or-
stub my toe and I'm walking, and now no matter
Everything.
what happens, that's the thing, right? So there's something about having that soreness someplace that attracts
Yeah.
the dig, right? So that's another benefit to forgiveness, right? So when we can allow that healing to happen for us, we no longer stub our toe at the same place or bite our lip and stuff. And I've had forgiveness work that I've done throughout. Like I said, 26 years in recovery. That means I've done the steps several times, and forgiveness is a big part of this. But there's layers,
Yeah.
right? There's layers to that. So, recently I was having a discussion with my partner about something, and something came up about my childhood, and I did not realize how that was still so there, right? Because I'm no longer living in that house with my parents, my step-parents, and the different scenarios, and my life doesn't stub that toe anymore, because like you said, it's no longer available. It's just no longer there.
Front and
It's
center.
right.
Now. Yeah.
Man, something comes along that feels similar, for whatever reason, nowhere like it, but it feels similar inside my body, my physiological response to it. And then all of a sudden, I'm 7, 8, 9 years old with this feeling of a little girl who feels abandoned or not heard or whatever. So remember to be kind to yourself when those things happen, and be aware that when they come up, we're talking about, every event's 5% what's actually happening and 95%
Oh
what
my
happened in the
gosh.
past.
So true.
And I was just, we were in a situation where it was safe to discuss that with each other. And, and I felt heard, and it was just another layer of healing for me in that scenario, in that, my toe didn't get stubbed. It felt like it was had it, and I was receiving a healing to that.
Yeah.
You know.
I love that. Yeah, so I think that's the biggest thing is allow the forgiveness to move through you, how it moves through you.
Mhm.
Not to try to be like anyone else. Even her story, that's awesome, but it may not be that way for me. You know, when I've had to forgive, usually most forgiveness for me comes pretty easily and quickly, I have to say. But every once in a while, there was like that one in particular I keep talking about this month that was just shocking. Like, what is the problem here? Why can't I release this? That just made me crazy. And then finally the realization was because it wasn't out here, it was you. You have to release you. You have to. So sometimes you don't even realize what it is at first. And it takes that process to get under all the layers and layers, like all the different layers we talked about, to get to what is it that's actually needing to be forgiven. You know, sometimes we don't get that on the front end because we're still so in it, we're involved, you know, around it. Maybe we need to talk to somebody who can see the outer shadowing or the outer sides of it and say, well, you know, you keep saying X, Y, Z. Would there be something there? You know, sometimes it takes. So that's why we're not in this world running around by ourselves. We're in this world with other people because sometimes we just can't. We can go begin within, we can pray, and we can do all the steps and, you know, follow what this person says and what that person says and try to get through it, and it's still not happening. That's time to get with somebody that you know and trust that maybe is in your faith. You know, you don't have to be in our faith system, you could be in whatever faith system, but somebody that can help you to see that shadow side of it, and let's get to the real cause of the whole problem.
Right, having a sounding board is always, in my experience, a beneficial thing. Actually, Amy and I were just talking about that last week about Amy and I Marco Polo every day. And one of the benefits to me about Marco Polo is I'm looking in my eyes and speaking my truth, whatever that is, and being able to know that on the other side, someone is listening to this and witnessing my healing or my experience or my, you know, light bulb event or whatever it is, you know. And sometimes we are just talking about daily stuff, but sometimes we're talking about deep things, you know. So either way, it allows us an opportunity to communicate with each other, but also to be each other's sounding board and allow that to blossom. I know, you know, Amy has had many, I'm going to talk for you, honey, has had many experiences where, you know, I haven't even had a chance to hear her yet. And she'll say, by the end of it, she'll be like, thank you, you know, because we know the answers. We know inside what the thing is. And Amy will have gotten to that point, and I haven't even listened yet because I'm not even awake. And, you know, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I could help. You know, there you go. I wanted to, let me see, you know, it's hard when you do notes on your phone because it just keeps closing on me. I wanted to read this part of what she had said. Sarah says, forgiveness found me alone center stage with endless possibilities. Real forgiveness was me letting go of all expectations of anything I expected as a certain outcome or who I would be on the other side. It's one of the tools that is wielded when we have healed just enough that we have nothing left to lose. If you are still hemorrhaging in pain, if you can't roll up your sleeves and show your scars and tell the story, then it's too soon to forgive. But it's never too late to let go and reclaim yourself. Love it. So I was like, wow, okay. You know, it's never too late. It can be too soon, but it's never too late.
I love that.
Yeah.
It could be soon.
It could be too soon, but it's never too late. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like you can't do it. You might be just too soon.
Yeah.
Might just feel like it's too soon, or you're, you know, if you feel like you're pushing and pushing,
right,
and nothing's happening, it may be that. It may be just recognizing you have these other feelings and move through those instead.
Right.
Right. And then, yeah, then get to the forgiveness work. But Yeah, I can't recommend it enough to seek somebody to talk to if you can. I mean, maybe Marco Polo. That's a
Hey, I love Marco Polo.
she gets everyone into Marco Polo, so it's a really cool thing. I like it now. But yeah, I just think just find your own process, find
Right.
your own way to deal with it, and it may be different for every situation. You may have one situation where it's easy, another situation where you're like, what the heck is going on?
Right.
I could still kill this person in my brain as they walk
Right.
through.
Well, and what I think is so funny is that sometimes it's easier the bigger it is.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, there you
The
go.
bigger things are sometimes easier because I have no idea. I was going to give you some BS reason. I have no idea why they're easier.
They're obvious.
They're obvious.
Oh,
there
There
you
you
go.
go.
There you go.
Ellie says obvious.
yeah.
They're obvious.
Because those ones, yeah, maybe it is because it's like, oh, I need to, and it's right there
It's
in
right
your
there.
thing.
Maybe
But
It's
it's
similar to one you've done before, so
Yeah,
you already
it's
know
those-
the pattern to get
Those
there.
little, squiggly ones that come in, those, like I don't even know I have it. And then all of a sudden my voice is raised, I've got that look on my face, and I'm like, oh, I guess this needs some work.
Right.
Yeah, the toughest part is forgiving yourself, and most of the time, the work of forgiving somebody else also has to do with yourself. Like the work is always inside. The work is always internal, no matter what you're trying to create in your life, no matter what area of life you're looking at, whether it's forgiveness or manifesting, whatever, the work is always going to be within.
Right.
So there's always something for you're working on. If somebody has done something and it's triggered you somewhere, there's always work within yourself too.
Right.
And there's a lot of, we were talking about that earlier, a lot of courage around looking at ourselves and what needs to be worked on there.
Yeah, I think
Always courage with that.
Yeah, when we're dealing with shadow work of any sort, or dark night of the soul, or those things
That's
Tough,
where,
that dark night of the soul.
yeah, those
Ooh.
things where I gotta look at me, I don't know about anybody else, but I will blame everybody and everything before I look at me. I'm just gonna tell you. Let me be authentic here. It's very hard for me to see that, especially when I'm in pain. When I'm in pain, it's like, why are you doing this to me? So I think that's why I resonated so much with her thing. Like, if you're still hemorrhaging, it's not time. And I think that hearing that gave me permission to say, okay, so if this feels that big to me right now, it's not time. But how can I get to that point where I'm healed just enough to allow forgiveness? And like we talked about last week with Byron Katie's The Work, that's there are tools out there available, for free on the, God, I love the internet, and there are things like that, where we can do processes, or like I said, talk to your bestie, talk to a therapist, talk to a counselor, talk to a practitioner or a minister, whomever. Somebody that's going to be your sounding board and hear and hold the highest and best, and allow you to express those feelings to the point that you can feel that release and you're no longer on fire.
And maybe somebody a little trained in that too.
Sure.
You're a minister, religious science and practitioner. We're trained to kind of ask questions. Life coaches do that too. Ask questions around the topic, not be like, oh yeah, he's a jerk face. Yeah, we should go. That's not your person for this process. That's not your person. That's
No,
something-
and by
that's
that
not
point,
that.
they were the first people you called
Yes,
anyway.
and they're ready
so
to take up arms and go help you.
you-
Which is good to know who those people are.
Right.
Just saying in
You've
case
already
we-
had those
in
conversations.
case we
so.
cannot forgive and we do need, no, totally digress. But I had when you said dark night of the soul, it brought up a memory of mine where I had a situation where it left me not devastated, but really having a difficult time moving through it. And one of the things that I did was I took myself to a place where I could be alone, and I just wrote out everything that was coming up for me. And I just dumped it all on that piece of paper. I wrote so fast, it wasn't the conscious me
Right.
writing anymore.
Right.
And in fact, I didn't even really read it. I thought I would go back and read it. I wrote till I was exhausted, till like I literally had nothing else that could come out, nothing else to say. And it took I would say it was about 30 minutes, and then I just fell asleep. And I woke up the next morning feeling so much better and stronger, and I actually never read it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, gotta get all this stuff out. It's usually it's that inner child stuff that's just gotta get out. And if you can look at it or give it to somebody else to look at, and then you can see, what am I saying? What is operating under there? What do I need to work on? For me, I think because it had gotten its chance to say its piece and be heard, like just get it out, it released me. So weird.
Oh yeah.
Because my intention was to do that, and then I was exhausted, so I went to sleep, and I thought in the morning I'm gonna have to deal with whatever is on that paper. But in the morning I felt so much better, and I couldn't even remember what I had written on the paper. It just felt like that was unnecessary. Like it just needed to have its moment to be heard, to be expressed.
It's the up and out, right? Like just
Yeah.
get it up and out. This year I had an experience where I had really, really wanted something at work, and it didn't happen. Someone else got it, and I was having like big emotions about it.
Oh, I like that term, big emotions.
Big emotions.
Big
I
emotions.
mean-
That's what I meant. I was having
Yeah.
big emotions,
I
and I
was-
had to write it out.
I mean, and my boss at the time, had shot me a text like we're a day in of the big emotions, right? Like it happened that morning, and I was in my office, and he shot me a text, and I just remember texting back like my big emotions in this, and crying and everything like that, and I don't know, we might have exchanged 3 or 4 texts, right? And of course, the words on text are not what is actually happening for me. But by the end of it, like, he said, "I'm really sorry this happened." And I was like, "Thank you. I'm really sorry it happened too." And then the next day I was able to be okay, and it was no longer a thing. Because I was like, and I guess it all depends on how you get it up and out. There's a difference, in my opinion, of repeating your story, right, over and over for the sympathy or the, that friend, because I have those friends too. I know who they are, and I will call them when I need it. It's like, back me up. There's a difference between that and then the person who's there to hold the space, to witness the process. And like I said earlier, we know our answers. We really do. We know our answers. It's inside us. So having that person that's a safe space to say, here's the ick I'm feeling, and I no longer want to feel this. I don't want you to take it on. I just want you to witness as I leave it here. I just want to be able to leave it, and not pick it up again. And sometimes I pick it up again. I do. There's moments.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think we go through, something else will happen, and all of a sudden that's back for a minute, and it just gives us an opportunity to revisit that and reset that forgiveness, like to redo it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's how ego works. That's how that part of ourselves works anyway. Anytime you try to up level, all that stuff comes up. Like,
Right? It comes with you.
I know. Like, I remember the first time I figured out that it's going to do that. I used to think, you work on something about yourself, right? And then it should be
Done.
I'm good, I'm done. Especially like the I'm good enough thing. There was a huge thing around that for me. And I discovered it in a workshop with Reverend Dr. Michelle Whittington, and I was shocked by that. Not that I don't think we all have that, but the amount that it came out in me scared me a little bit. It was like a lot bigger than I thought, than I realized. And so then I did a lot of work around that. Well, then, fast forward several years and I'm doing something, I'm up leveling, right? It comes back. I'm like, hey, I already took care of you. No. I don't have that issue anymore. I don't have that problem anymore.
I have other problems, just not
Yes,
you.
just not you. I took care of that. I did a workshop. I did all the work around it. It's not been existent this whole time. And then someone said, oh, no, that doesn't go away.
Yeah.
You took care of it for that level, but every level that you try to go up, it comes back again. I'm like, are you kidding me? So now
It's like we've never played a video
I know,
game.
I know. Dang it, us 80s people. We should know this by now. This is how it works.
Right? Super Mario Brothers.
Over
Here
and
I come.
over again. I know the pattern, but I'm glad you said that because it's now I know the pattern. When I go to
So
up
you have the
level,
cheat
if I
code.
don't have that come up, if I don't have that come up, I'm concerned.
Right. He goes, did I up
Am
level?
I up level? What's the problem? But when I go to up level and all of that stuff comes up, I'm like, oh hi. Well, there you are.
There you
Looks
are.
like I'm up leveling. All
Right.
right. I will.
Okay.
I'll do it. That's fine.
That
I
yeah.
want it to show up now. I'm like,
I just remember Reverend Flo would talk about that. Yeah. God bless her. That spiral upwards, and that as we're leveling up, there will be these spots. And like you said, so there's a difference when when we first start on the spiritual journey and it's this big, ugly, nasty thing, it's like, huge. And now we've worked through it. We've done all the big work and we've got all that done. And like you said, and so now the next time, it's big, but it's not as nasty. Maybe it's a little
and that is
shiny.
scary because I already
and not as
worked
scary.
on it.
Right. Right. And I know.
Yeah,
I
you.
know
you.
I know what you got. And then the next time it's smaller and I think
And you're stronger.
and you're stronger. I think the hardest part is when like you hit it like up here and it's all shiny and you didn't know that it was going to be one. Like when it's sneaky. It's the sneaky one that I'm like, hey, excuse me.
I still know what you are.
I know what you are, but
Yes.
man, that was a pretty display.
I know, but I can see the evolution of it, and I can see. So if you're a young one watching this, and these things are happening to you, just recognize that as you up level, as you grow in your life, you'll get stronger, and that will get weaker.
Yes.
But it will never go away. Unfortunately, you don't conquer it once and for all. You conquer it for whatever the level is that you're at, and then every next level, that stuff still comes up. It's just kind of like it's a stuck space in yourself that you just it comes up because it's afraid, or it has concerns and it doesn't want you to go to the next level. It's like, no, I'm really good right here. I kind of want to stay right here, and you're like, no, I'm going.
I'm going to try it. I'm
So-
going to do more.
And you're coming
gonna
with
do
me,
more.
and
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it. So yeah, but I think the best part is now at this level, this stage of the game, I know it should be there.
Right.
So I almost go, where is that? That should be here now. If I'm actually up leveling, I'm actually doing what I think I'm doing, then that should come next. And so when it shows up, I'm like, okay, good. Then this is a big enough dream. This is a big enough goal because it's in tight. It's got this coming after me. So I know I'm on the right path. I know I'm doing the right thing because if I wasn't, that wouldn't show up.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a big enough dream. It's a big enough goal because now it's showing up in this up level. And if it didn't show up,
Then I wouldn't be up leveling.
then
It'd just
yeah,
be
I'm
more of the
not.
same. And you can do
I'm
that
not
and confuse yourself.
Oh,
you
yeah.
think you're doing it, but you're still just running down the same level. You're still just keeping yourself safe. It's so not covert. What's the word? Is it covert?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah, covert.
yeah, to where like you think,
Yeah.
but it's really not.
Right.
So that part of yourself that comes up, rears its ugly head, so to speak, and tries to upset you and tell you how you're not good enough and how, who are you to do this? And what if you fail? That's the part that you're like, oh, I'm actually going to
So
the
it's
next
actually
level.
a good sign.
You can turn it around and make yeah, it's what you think it is.
So it's
I
a
wait
gift.
for it now. I want it to show
Right.
up because that's how I know.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And so that strength and courage to forgive is a gift. It's a gift that we give ourselves, showing ourselves that we're on the right path and we're up leveling.
Every time.
Wow.
I know. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I learn something new every day.
I know, I don't know how we keep doing it on here.
I don't know.
I kept thinking like maybe we'll run out of stuff eventually, but it
I
keeps
don't
coming
know.
up.
I had a call yesterday with Benjamin, and we both had scheduled maybe 20 minutes for this call. 2 hours and 20 minutes later.
Stop it.
I know, right? And but yeah, and talking about just how spirituality, this whole process is sometimes overcomplicated. Like people just make it like all like, here are the steps, and and anytime you're you go to a talk, and I love this. I love and I was taught this way, and so were you, right? Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them yeah.
Tell them what you're gonna tell them. Tell them
what you told them. Yes, and so sometimes we complicate it, and the thing about it is that you were born with all the answers, and if you can just get quiet enough, you'll know it. And if you think you don't know it, find that person, have that conversation. Just hear yourself say it out loud. And that's what I was talking about with Amy. So sometimes it's just hearing yourself say it out loud. You find the answer. Nobody knows what to do for you better than you.
Exactly.
I will hold the highest and best for you, but I don't know what your upward spiral is. Michelle doesn't know what your upward spiral is. Only you know that. And only you can be the best you can be. And only I can be the best me that I am,
Right.
Yeah.
And we can help. We can help be the sounding board.
Right.
Get help with tools like what we're doing on our Sofa Sundays. We expect you to do the work, but we want to give you the things to work with.
Right.
The changing mindsets or other ways to think about things, or so that's what we do to try to help, but it's still your work. And you know what is yours to do. So that's the big thing, is recognizing that we already have the answers for our own journeys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's why we say every time begin with it.
Begin with it.
Right? Not begin with the minister, or begin with the morning pages, or begin within. What do you got inside? Where is it?
In the present moment.
In the present moment.
Stay present. Stay present, my friends. Don't go in the past or the future.
No, don't tell the story.
Freaking yourself out and running from there. We're going to run from the present moment. That's where all your power and your ideas are. All the right moves are from there. And then we're going to move forward.
Right. That's where our creative energy is. That's where our strength and courage is.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're in it because the energy that you have is different than the energy you have in the past and the future.
Yes.
So that's when you want to operate from there.
It really is. It's a grounded, moving forward.
Confident.
Yeah.
Peaceful and confident all at the same time. Love it.
Yes.
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 So that's what we encourage you all to do today. So for this month, look around, look at the different areas of your life and say to yourself, is there anywhere that I need to have some forgiveness? Anywhere I need to let something go so that I can move from that and keep it from operating underneath my life and what I'm trying to create in my life. And just take a moment and do that. Maybe do one part of life for the next 8 days. Do one part of life. Meditate on that. Just look at your relationships. So run through all your relationships. Anyone. Or look through the way you're handling your money. That's a part of life. Your money situation. Anywhere I need to be forgiving myself. Just look at the different areas and find where those are. Maybe journal them and then work on them. Yeah. That's my big tip for the day.
There you go. There you go. I love it. I feel good.
I feel good. Anyone got a comment? Oh,
There you go, Trey. Thank you, sir.
I just want to mention one more aspect that has helped me, and you would never know it because I'm the poster child for inactivity, but many years ago I was extremely hit with an instance where I totally could not forgive this person, and the only way I could do it was to go to a batting cage and exert some energy. Mm-hmm. So physical activity, and it made me frustrated because I couldn't even touch the ball. But I found that just within the last couple of years, if I just get out there and walk and be with nature, or even clean house, which I hate to do. That really helps a lot in the immediacy of the moment, and then it deadens it a little bit so that then I can start to work on, okay, what do I need to do now? What do I need to do now? So
Love
physical activity helps a lot.
Yes.
You know what I love about that is you're bringing yourself present, especially when you talk about nature or walking or doing the house fleet. You're bringing yourself into present. You're taking that negative energy and you're putting it into something good, and that's now diffusing it to where you can actually get to yourself and be like, okay, like move these layers out. Now, what do I need to do? So that's like, I love that you said that because we hadn't said anything like that. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. That is really important. That if you're unable to unravel it mentally, like try Evie's idea about physically, do something physically, because maybe it's this, maybe it's
Right.
in here.
It's
in your-
too stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get it out so that you can get to the part of yourself that can work
I
on
love
it.
that. Yeah.
That's a great
absolutely.
awareness. Thank you, Evie. I love that. Yeah. I love the batting cage. Whether or not you connect with a ball, it still is a good thing, right? Okay, Trey. Trey.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So, Dakota, anything? Anyone? She's like, peace out. I'm good. Perfect. All right. Are you good?
I'm good.
I'm
I
good.
feel complete. You
I
ready?
think we can end the day.
All right.
Let's take a deep breath in and release everything. And come into an awareness, come into the present moment together. Using the breath to anchor into this space, into this time. Recognizing there's one power, one presence. There's only one life, and that's God. That's God's life. God is that presence. God is that energy, that power. God is the only thing. And as God is the only thing, it is also the only thing that we all could be made of, we all could be a part of. We each are that perfect manifestation of God, God's creation. And as we are all that God is, we each have the same attributes. We each have the strength of God. We each have the courage of God. We each have the love of God, the peace of God, the wholeness of God. We are each exactly what God is, expressing as ourselves uniquely. And from that knowing, from that place of knowing who and whose I am, knowing the truth of myself, I speak my word into the law. I know that as I do, I set the law of God in motion for the highest and best for this time together. I know that as each one of us, as anyone hearing this Sofa Sundays, I know that as they come to it with an openness, with an allowing, with a desire to receive, I know that it speaks to them with what is theirs, with what they need, what pieces of forgiveness, what ideas around forgiveness is needed. I know that they receive those and take it into their everyday life, unraveling any chains, any connections to another person, to another time, to another situation that needs to be released. I know that we allow that awareness to come forth, that we can work on that. And the work begins within. The work is a process. The work is our own, at our own time, at our own pace. We have grace. We have love and peace for ourselves, for others, keeping ourselves present as we work through it, knowing that everything is in perfect and divine order. It is all good. The work is always good. And I'm so grateful for that. I am so grateful for the knowing that there is only one thing going on here. There is only God. And I'm grateful for allowing that awareness to help create a life that I love, that to help others create a life that they love. And so I let it go, and I know and I trust that it is divinely guided and truly blessed. And so together we say, and so it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. All right. Just a few reminders.
Oh, we have reminders.
We have reminders. October 22nd is Sofa Sunday Social.
Oh, it's Sofa
Sunday.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yep.
Sofa Sunday Social.
There we go. And we do that at Enchiladas, which is right close to us here. So if you're thinking, ooh, I'd love to be at Sofa Sundays, that's the day to do it.
That's the day to do it.
That's
If you want
the
to
day
just
to do
check us out, that's the day to do it.
You can come anytime, actually,
yes.
but I like a lot of people like food, so I'm just saying.
I like food.
That's when we're going to lunch.
I like food.
Yes, and if you want, we are one person away from having 500 Facebook members. So invite, and invite some more. And we just want to encourage you to invite people that you feel would resonate with this and with us and with the ideas that we express, and see if that's something that they'd be interested in. I don't want you to spam your friends. I'm just saying,
No.
invite people who you think
Yeah,
would be interested in joining us.
it's all faiths, all faiths.
All
So
faiths.
we have our faith, but we really try to put this out in a way that any faith could grab onto it and take it into their own practice. So
Exactly.
the tools are the tools. I think they're universal. We
Right.
may pray our own way, but we always say, when we're saying our prayers, feel free to just, in your own mind, say your own prayer if you want to. But the talk is really, I think, for everyone.
I do too. So, yes. So in Facebook, you have
Oh, she's
your
giving an
assignment. Yes. So get us to 500.
Let's do it.
Again, I want to thank our Spiritual Church Club partners. These are the people that are supporting us financially. If you'd like to be a Spiritual Church Club partner, one, you get this amazing cup because coffee
And hot
and
chocolate.
hot chocolate, tea, water, whatever you choose, tastes better in it.
So much better.
So much better. So that is $45 a month for an individual and $75 for family. And you can go to beginwithinministries.com to sign up for that. If you would like to just give us $1 million, you can go to beginwithinministries.com and do it there as
Or any
well.
denomination is fine.
Or any denomination
Yeah.
below or
So for
above
those of
that.
you-
I'm willing.
Oh my
I
gosh.
accept
She's
it all.
saying yes. I
I
say
say
yes.
yes.
Too. Yes.
Um,
So for those of you who are tithers and you understand the whole idea around tithing, we wanted to simplify it. That's why we did the Spiritual Church Club partnership, so that it was just a simpler way where everyone was participating together.
Correct.
And so that's why we did it that way. But if you want to tithe more than that, that's fine. If you want to just tithe one time, that's fine too. But everything helps us to maintain this ministry and keep growing this ministry. We are so blessed to have this space from Reverend Dr. Michelle Whittington, and at the same time, we would love to outgrow it, have a community of people, including children, programs for children. So we just need to grow and get a bigger space. So
Absolutely.
that helps, and that way we help everybody participates. Everybody gets from that as we grow, which is our
Yes.
goal.
And I want to say thank you to all our online people, both Facebook members and Instagram members and our YouTube members. We are so grateful for you. We're grateful you watch us. We're grateful you share us. We're grateful for your comments. That's how you can help our ministry continue to grow and continue to be online through those opportunities. So thank you. Thank you for everybody who continues to support us in any way you can. we appreciate you.
We love
really
doing this,
appreciate
yeah.
you, and we love having the ability to do this. So thank you for that.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being
Yes.
here and helping us this community grow.
And, pay attention to onlines this coming, or no, not this week, but next
Next week.
week. We'll remind you again next Sunday.
Yes, we're gonna be jumping on here and we'll give you a tour of Unity Village.
Yes, we will.
2 weeks. It'll be
Yes.
perfect.
All righty.
Okay.
Well, thank you all. We love you and have an amazing week. We'll see you in October.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.
Trey. Oh my goodness. All right.
I know October already, right?
October, can you believe it?
How about this one?
I don't know when you guys are ending. You guys like. keep
Well, when we say goodbye, we're ending.
Yes.
That's how
That's
we do
usually
it.
cute.
That's how we do it.